Mark Twain once said, "History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes." On a day where the Steelers were celebrating their 2005 World Championship team, it would be fitting that their opponent would be Indianapolis. It was 20 years ago when the Steelers upset the number 1 seeded Colts on their improbable run to their 5th Super Bowl title.
Hey man, we talked a lot, okay? We talked a lot amongst ourselves. There ain't a lot to say. All I'm gonna tell you is check your footing out there, check that sunlight, okay? If you need out black, get it. Enough said, man, it's time to ball.
The Colts come into this game 7-1, the best record in football, and the Steelers were looking to get back into the win column in front of the home crowd.
It's feast or famine today. We ain't playing down to their standard. We ain't playing down to what the fuck they doing. We got to go out there and be the best group today. The best, most dominant D-line on this field today. Let's go out there and get a dub.
Family on 3. 1, 2, 3, family.
Here we go. This pass is caught and that's a touchdown. That's the way to work. Come on. He's hit that sack. The Steelers win the football game. Let's go. Come get it. You know what it is.
This one is in the history books.
Here we go.
Welcome to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
Hi everybody, and welcome to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. I'm Missy Matthews. After losing 2 straight games, Captain Cam Hayward challenged his teammates to get out of their funk. And on the eve of Colts and Steelers, newcomer Jalen Ramsey spoke at the final team meeting. Whatever the turning point was, Pittsburgh ended up back in the win column. And for more on that, let's send it over to Bob Pompeani, who's standing by with Coach Tomlin. Guys.
All right, Missy, thanks very much. Steelers coming off a very impressive win at home against the team that had a 7-1 record. Coach Mike Tomlin is here, and Coach, there are 3 teams now that have 7-2 records, and you've beaten 2 of them. That's how close this league is, it seems, week in and week out. What are you most proud of from that performance last week?
You know, I think our ability to minimize Jonathan Taylor was a major component of how the game unfolded. They got a lot of statistics offensively that kind of speak to their dominance, but I think he certainly has been the catalyst for a lot of things that have gone on with them. They stay on schedule. That puts them in third manageable circumstances. They were only punting, I think, 16 times in eight ball games. And so they've done a nice job of taking care of the football because they hadn't been in one-dimensional passing circumstances that often. And so I thought the linchpin for us in totality, really in all 3 phases, the most important thing we had to get done was minimize Jonathan Taylor. And we did that, and I think some of the other things kind of fell into place because of it.
And turnovers became a big part of this game as well. TJ Watt, when you're on the sidelines and you feel your team's pulse at that point, what did that turnover mean?
You know, he's a catalyst for a lot of things that we do. Obviously, it goes beyond his playmaking. He instills confidence in his teammates. He's one of those guys that everyone wants to play with. He ignited not only our sideline, but that venue. And I think he really got the ball rolling downhill, certainly.
And it was contagious, too. Alex Highsmith, I thought, had his best game of the year. It's kind of interesting when you talk about when 2 guys do the same thing, when Alex and TJ have those kinds of days, strip, sack, fumble, recovers, all that stuff. It's almost like when the Penguins have Crosby and Malkin scoring at the same time. They very seldom lose. Do you find that to be the case?
It certainly is, but again, it all permeates from one-dimensional passing circumstances. And so certainly TJ was a catalyst and Alex followed along, and it really created a frenzy. But the ingredients of that frenzy is not there if they're in 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, if it's that type of a game. And so the run game component of it, those big guys up front that we don't talk a lot about, obviously Cam gets some recognition, but Derek Harmon and Keno Benton, man, they really did a nice job.
You also had a whole bunch of stuff going on in your secondary to the point where you had to bring somebody in, and Kyle Duggar, and you had to move Jalen Ramsey, who played safety the entire game. I guess he hasn't done that in a long time. What did it mean that those 2 guys came up with the performances they did?
Can't say enough about the contributions of those 2. First with Jalen, man, he's just awesome, man. Wherever we play him, he embraces it. He excels. He played a really good game for us at free safety and free safety exclusively. Circumstances dictated that. And then I can't say enough about Kyle. being able to get on a moving train. I think he really kind of got to us like Wednesday in terms of getting some work done, and to be able to play every snap like he did and be a component of this thing was really impressive, and it's really exciting moving forward. I can't wait to see what he looks like, on a full, complete week's work of preparation.
He made that moving train slow down a little bit. He made it look like it was perfect for him when he came here. I want to talk also about the complementary football. You often sit here and talk about that. It's one thing to get turnovers, it's another thing to turn them into points, and 3 of those resulted in 21 points.
Yeah, and that's important. If you're going to play winning football, we were sputtering a little bit offensively. We took the ball to start the game because we didn't want to give that high-powered offense the ball. It didn't work out the way we envisioned. We were 3 and out, and really it was kind of back and forth. The turnovers were the catalyst for our offense. We were able to put on 2 quick touchdowns before the half, and then we were able to kind of go on from there. But I think whether it's the offense complementing the defense and scoring once we get turnovers, or the defense complementing the offense if we happen to turn it over, get the stop, and so forth, I just think that's the main ingredients to engineering victory. And so the smiling in the face of adversity, or to capitalize on advantageous circumstances is a major component of team ball, and you certainly got to throw special teams in there. Man, we recovered a muff punt, and we came up short, and that was a component of complementary football that we didn't take advantage of, and certainly was costly to our efforts.
Your offensive line seems to be getting better every week. You have a lot of young people on that offensive line, specifically Troy Fautano. He had a really good game. I don't know if he's allowed a sack this year. What is it about his performance that you've seen week in and week out that has you happy as a coach? He's
just gaining experience. Certainly the talent is there, but you could say that about the entire collective. We've invested a lot of draft capital in assembling particularly the young components of this group. And they're all getting better with work as individuals and as a collective, and particularly as it pertains to Troy. He didn't get a lot of opportunities last year due to injury, and so I'm really excited to watch him grow and get a feel for the game and the experience that comes with playing. And really the knowing that his talents are sufficient, that he can do it, and he certainly can. And so I think it's reasonable to expect that collective to continue to pick things up, and I know that we're going to need it as we push into November, certainly.
Yeah, another big game coming up. Coach, thanks very much. When we come back, Missy, we're going to talk about the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 6-3, but they're dealing with some injuries of their own. We'll get into that and more as we continue. Back to you, Missy.
All right, thanks so much, Bob. And the Steelers still lead the AFC North with a 5-3 record. The Chargers, on the other hand, sit at 6-3, which is good for second place in the AFC West. And congratulations to Alex Highsmith, who was named the Week 9 AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Against the Colts, he had 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, and a pass defensed, becoming the only player to do so in a single game this season. The 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show will be right back.
Welcome back to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
Last season, when the Chargers were here in Pittsburgh, quarterback Justin Herbert wasn't 100%. Sunday night will be different, though, in terms of his health, but he has still been sacked 28 times so far this season, which is the 3rd most in the NFL. For more on what that could mean for the Steelers' defense, let's send it back to Bob and Coach. Guys.
All right, Missy, thanks very much. We're talking about the Chargers. They have some injury issues. Slater, tackle is out, and now Joe Alt, one of their other outstanding tackles, is also out. So, Coach Tomlin, how does that change your strategy going up against those guys? Because I would imagine they're going to have to get chip help, whoever's playing tackle for them.
I guess that's a complex question because the answer to that question is how does it change their strategy? Having gone against Greg Roman a lot over the years, it's probably less significant for him and them than it is most operations. They have a unique running game, a unique commitment to the running game. They have unique ways of attacking you that doesn't isolate offensive tackles. He's going to run the football. He's got quarterback mobility. Certainly Herbert is an issue from that perspective. He's got a full complement of eligibles. He's absorbed some attrition at running back, but you see him pivot and just continue to find ways to do it. Vidal is the guy now. He's got 200-yard games in the last, I think, 3 weeks. Patterson is a young runner from Buffalo that's been elevated, I think, off a practice squad. He ran for about 50 yards on 8 or 9 carries last week. And so I think that's kind of a signature of Greg Roman offense. It's plug and play. It's somewhat of a unique offense. It challenges you schematically in ways that others don't. It doesn't isolate offensive tackles on islands with a high level of consistency. They certainly will spread you out, but when they do, oftentimes it's quick game and enough things where you can't pin your ears back. And so certainly it's potentially an opportunity for us. But the way that Greg knows us, I know it's not a situation where he's just simply going to throw those guys to the wolves. He's going to be strategic about that component of the matchup.
You mentioned Justin Herbert. He does have 305 yards rushing in this season, but he also is known for his passing and his ability. Last year, you had a chance to get to him, knocked him out of the game. Talk about what you have to do to slow him down, especially if they have trouble with the tackles. I would imagine maybe the quick snap, quick release may come into play here.
You know, his complete body of talent, his arm talent, his legs are an asset. They're a weapon. They're an X factor. And so they don't have to do anything to access it. He extends plays and makes throws down the field. He can break out on you and take off and run. I mean, he ran for almost 100 yards on us in 2021. Last year, he was somewhat limited with a lower body injury. I think it was an ankle. It slowed him down. It allowed us to get after him, but that was an isolated incident. It certainly has our attention as we lean in on this game, his mobility and his impact formally and informally on how this game's going to unfold.
And he's spreading the ball around. He has Keenan Allen sort of his security blanket, but McConkey's been good. Johnson's been good. They got a lot of eligibles who come into play, and he seems to be good at finding them wherever they are.
He's got a complete wide-out group. He certainly does. They got a nice division of labor. Johnson's a down-the-field guy. McConkey's a guy that can win it, the sticks, if you will. Certainly, Allen is a Grizzly veteran, but I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Oronde Gadsden, a young tight end who's dynamic, who's almost like an oversized wideout. He's a rookie from Syracuse. I think over the last 3 or 4 weeks, man, he has been a dynamic component of their offense and something that's emerging quickly. And so, man, we got some tough decisions to make in those one-dimensional passing moments, how to deploy coverage, who to play 2-on-1 football with, if you will. How to minimize the quarterback mobility and the play extension component of their attack. And so they got a dangerous group. We got our hands full. It's going to be big-time ball in L.A.
Defensively, every time you see the name Derwin James, you know he's one of their leaders there. But they brought in Owe from Baltimore in a Harbaugh trade. He's been good since they had him. No sacks in Baltimore. He has 4. What's he brought to their front?
Well, I just want to talk about Mr. James, first of all. I just got so much respect for Derwin James. I think back to when I was at Jalen Ramsey's pro day a decade ago. I asked Jalen, I said, who is the young guy in this program that I need to know about that I'm going to come back for? And he signaled this young guy over. He had sandals on, he had a backpack, he was about 18, and it was Derwin James. And so I've done that over the years. I always ask big-time players, who do I need to know about? Jalen introduced me to Derwin, and he was right. This guy's position flexibility, he gets around at all spots. He plays safety, he plays nickel, he plays dime linebacker. He's a good blitzer, he's a good tackler. He's a handful. And as you mentioned, Owe, they just dumped Owe in with that talented edge group that they have. They got Mack, they got Bud Dupree. You throw Owe into that group. They're talented and deep. And certainly as a position group, they're the straw that stirs the drink for that defensive unit. But if you had to identify one singular individual, it's definitively Derwin James.
Coach, thanks very much. It's going to be a primetime matchup as the Steelers make the trip to Los Angeles. Steelers and Chargers on Sunday night. When we come back, we'll get Coach Mike Tomlin's keys to this game. It's all coming up. Missy, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Bob. And speaking of primetime, this will be the Steelers' 3rd game under the lights in the past 4 weeks, including the 2nd on Sunday Night Football. Alumni Weekend was extra special in Pittsburgh as the Steelers honored their Super Bowl 40 team. We have an exclusive breakdown of Toss 39X reverse pass coming right up. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
Show off your black and gold knowledge with Immaculate Prediction, the Steelers predictive game that gives you a chance to win some great prizes. Here's one of this week's questions. Will Peyton Wilson have over or under 5.5 solo tackles? Just head to the Steelers mobile app now to compete for this week's first place prize, an autographed football by number 41. Good luck. Over 30 members of the Super Bowl 40 team were on hand for Alumni Weekend. The win over the Seahawks gave the Steelers one for the thumb. And whether you call it a trick play, a gadget play, or a special play, Antoine Randall L's touchdown pass to Hines Ward surprised everyone, including their own teammates. Here's an excerpt from a Steelers story, our latest edition, with how it all went down.
Toss 39X, reverse pass.
You hear a play like toss 39X reverse pass come in. You get that play that you go, uh-oh.
I heard the play and I was like, oh, no.
High risk, high reward. This could work out really great or this could spectacularly fail. It's one or the other.
We don't call them gadget plays. Everybody else call them gadget plays, but Wiz has always called them special plays. The special play that we had, we actually ran it against Cleveland during the regular season.
It wasn't new to us. It was just about, man, can we get it called?
Antoine played quarterback in college. I played quarterback in college. So when we drafted Antoine, I kind of took him under my wing. We would always play pitch and catch. And he's like, man, I'm gonna throw me a touchdown one day in the NFL. And I wanted to be on the receiving end of that.
When this play is called, like, I'm excited the play's called because I know I can execute it. I know we can execute it. I don't have any jitters about throwing it. I don't have any qualms about throwing it because I got my gloves on. I'm not trying to take my gloves off to throw it.
Because normally when you see a wide receiver, they have to take a glove off, they have to take it off, and you kind of figure it's going to happen, but not for Twan. Twan was ready for the moment.
When we end up calling the play, I remember vividly, we looked at each other, had a big smile on my face.
Hines kind of taps me, and we know it's time to go, man. Can we get this done? Can this happen in the Super Bowl?
And they pitch it to the left, and now here's the handoff on the reverse to Antoine Randall L. He's going to throw it down the field. Here's a man open. Touchdown, Pittsburgh! Hines Ward! The Steelers score from 43 out.
Antoine, who was probably the best quarterback on the team, he's coming around to throw this ball, and my job was just to make sure that he doesn't, get caught or the end doesn't get run the play down. And so I kind of pull the old, let me tie my shoestring, get in the way of the defensive end of the linebacker. Don't know that I made much of a block, but at least it was enough to maybe slow him down for a second.
Great block! That's a great block, baby!
Really it's just give him the time to make the thing happen, because if he's going to put it anywhere close to Hines is going to make the play.
I knew what was coming and looked down and I could see Hines was open, and so it was just hoping Randall L. would be able to get on the ball, and of course Randall L. threw a great pass.
I was able to just lay it out there so Hines can run right under it.
Once the ball is in the air, and I'm like, ah!
My worst nightmare is dropping a wide open touchdown where nobody's around me and that ball just floating in the air. And all I kept saying, don't drop it, don't drop it, don't drop it. And when I end up skipping like a little kid, I had no idea what I was doing. It's almost like I was at recess, skipping into the end zone.
You're in the Super Bowl and you're running a trick play at a very critical moment in the game. That takes a lot of trust, a lot of practice, and a lot of faith in the individuals to execute.
Big time throw, baby. Only through the blessing of God. What the word for the day is glory. Glory!
And make sure you check out the full episode of One for the Thumb on the team's official YouTube page. Well, Sunday will mark the first matchup between Aaron Rodgers and Justin Herbert. The last time that Rodgers played the Chargers, Herbert was still a year away from entering the league. And for more on how the Steelers can win their first primetime game of the season, let's send it back to Bob and Coach for Keys to the Game, presented by your neighborhood Ford store. Guys.
All right, Missy, thanks very much. Before I get into the keys here, and I know we have a lot of them, but I thought a key last week was Joey Porter Sr. I saw him at the alumni dinner, and he said, my son better have a good game. And he did. And I'm sure that was a big component of why he was so juiced on Sunday.
I'm sure Joy Jr. doesn't care about his dad's opinion on game day. We're a little bit beyond daddy ball. This is the National Football League. That young man is a professional. It certainly is a unique story that they get to share. But day in and day out, man, JPJ is earning his own keep. He doesn't need any outside motivation, particularly from his dad. He's got a desire to be great. He's a young player that's working his tail off, and I think it's reflected in his play, particularly last week.
Always good to impress your father and your mother. That's what he's doing right now. But he's going to be key in this game.
I'm sure he's probably a little bit more worried about his mother. I know the family. She's the heavy.
Well, then definitely you got to put up the numbers, and he has. But just talk about him as a key stop in this Charger offense, because it is dynamic.
Yeah, it is, man. As I mentioned, there are going to be some one-on-one matchups. They're just talented in too many areas for there not to be. I think a key component of how this game unfolds is the quarterback mobility component. We got to keep him in the pocket. If he gets out of the pocket, we certainly got to minimize the positivity. He can't create yards in chunks with his legs or throwing down the field on extended plays as coverages break down with time, which they all do. The quarterback mobility component is a major component of this game, coupled with the emergence of the many eligibles that he has. And as I mentioned, the most recent one, the rookie tight end Gatson, really complicates matters, because if you didn't already have your hands full with the other three, now there's another one to be concerned about.
All right, Coach, thanks. All the best in Los Angeles. That's going to do it for today's 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. For Coach Tomlin and Missy Matthews, I'm Bob Pompeani. We'll see you on game day. Our pregame coverage begins at 11:30 in the morning for that primetime matchup in L.A. Have a good week.